Goma and konnichiwa. Plus, yabaseo. Well, here it's the POLIT'AI CHI. Bringing you a brief intro so you know the video highlights coming up. Throwing my 2 cents as well. Hopefully it's worth the quarter for you. Alright, so this is a hashtag I'm pretty sure I started. Good Dems. She's one of the good ones. Because a lot of the media, let's just call it media. Why don't you call it mainstream? Why does Fox think they're exempt from? They're in the mainstream too. Alright, so let's just get that sort of, what would you call it? The context of that particular vernacular cleared up right away. It's the media. Alright, the left-leaning media calls out the president constantly and saying he's being intentionally divisive. And it's just not true. The man is coarse, sure. He's abrasive, absolutely. Has a command of the lexicon and use of vernacular, sure. Then why all the gaps? It's just kind of who he is. He's not able to compartmentalize, turn on and off the switches with people he may not necessarily get along with. And that maybe is where career politicians sort of learn that skill over time. If you don't have it inherently, and I'm saying the president doesn't, period. That's the burden of being a centrist. You have to be an equal opportunity critiquer without being critical. Disagree while still being agreeable. Hey, how's that for alliteration? So this gal is one of the good ones, and here's one. So the CBC chair-elect. It's nice to see someone younger in there. You know, the attractive factor and is not so much an issue. For my part, I'll say that. You know, just to, quell any, oh, you're a closet ethnist by even having this going on there. It's like, and just stop right there. Okay, I'm from the Rocky Mountains. There is no closet ethnism running around there. You hear that word? Not racism, people. Ethnism. The opposite of what's defined in the dictionary, based on the core root word ethnos. Ethnocentricity, when one is partial to one's own ethnic origins. All right, so it ain't racism. Unless your best friend's Romulan. You hear what I'm saying? All right, but she's very well spoken, and she seems very level-headed, and so I'm going to keep building on this, because the president's wrong when he says, the Democrats. It should be, again, as previously stated, the command of English vernacular has been well demonstrated by the president. Timeliness in terms of talking points to put out there, rather than just some broad general umbrella statement, is where there needs like a whole hell of a lot of work. Because not all of the Democrats are these left-leaning, sort of, I'm going to say it, wackadoodle, Ocasio-Duhs. She's one of the good ones. I got a couple other going on that hashtag. So this is a whole esplanade, and rather montage. It's the appropriate word. And the lovely and regal Southern Belle, Diggy McDowell. I love that dress on her. She's looking good that day. Alright. We're done here. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll.
From 6,000 to about 2,500. Some of those have returned home. Some of those obviously have also crossed the border illegally. Dagan, back to you.
Steve Harrigan in Tijuana, Mexico for us. Thank you so much, Steve. Back here at home, President Trump wants funding for a border wall to help keep illegal immigrants out. But Democratic leaders Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are not buying into it. Could that showdown lead to a government shutdown right before Christmas? Joining me now is California Congresswoman and the incoming Congressional Black Caucus Chair, Karen Bass. Good to see you. Good morning, Congresswoman. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Do you think that the battle over the border wall funding could lead to a government shutdown?
Well, I certainly hope it doesn't, and I think it's completely unnecessary. You know, there are several bills that need to pass, not just the one dealing with the border, and those bills have been negotiated on a bipartisan basis. What needs to happen is we need to go ahead and pass those bills that would fund the overwhelming majority of the government, and then the one bill covering Homeland Security, we can do a continuing resolution, which means we keep the funding level the same, and deal with this in the next Congress. That's what we should do. And by the way, in that bill, there
She's
is
one of the good
funding
ones, 'cause she
for
doesn't even use the
fencing
word
related
racist
to the
or
border
racism
to
at all.
repair.
It's
The
harkening back to
president
the
wants an
1960s
additional $4
civil rights era,
billion on
which
top
these
of
older
that, and I don't
CBC
think that should happen
people seem
now
to,
at all, and I don't think
I won't
that
say
the
revel
president
in, but they
should
bring it
shut
up a
the
lot.
down over that.
It looks so close, though. It's $5 billion that President Trump wants for a wall. Chuck Schumer, the senator, has said $1.6 billion for border security. It looks like you're so close on dollar amounts and quibbling over semantics. What does a compromise look like in that scenario? And so let's just assume, because I know that it's the idea that you continue funding the Department of Homeland Security for a year, but what does a compromise look like on the wall versus a fence? Almost $2 billion versus $5 billion.
Well, again, there is money in the bill, so it should go ahead and pass. But, $4 billion is nothing to quibble about. That's a great deal of money. And by the way, there is a new president in Mexico. So originally, when the president was talking about the wall, he did say that Mexico was going to fund it. So maybe one thing that could happen is maybe he could open up negotiations with the new president of Mexico and say, how about kicking in that extra $4 billion that we need? Originally, we were never supposed to pay for this border wall. I think we need to go back to that.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I used to joke that in every speech that President Obama gave in his 8 years in office, he talked about infrastructure spending as being stimulative to the economy. Building a wall is infrastructure.
The type of infrastructure that we need in this country, we need to repair our roads, our bridges, our airports, our ports. That's the type of infrastructure that frankly would create jobs all around the country. I don't think a border wall is exactly the type of infrastructure that is going to help the U.S. economy.
Personal lawyer Michael Cohen. President Trump's attorney Rudy Giuliani just tweeted this, quote, "Fake news coverage can't change the reality that Mueller's late Friday dump demonstrates yet again no evidence connected to President. It also indicates Southern District of New York is asking that Cohen receive a 4-year prison sentence, longest so far because, as we have said, he's still lying." And we can go into some of the details of these filings, but in essence, Michael Cohen gave significant help on the Russia probe, according to the Mueller team, and he worked at the direction of President Trump in arranging illegal payments. That's according to Manhattan prosecutors. What say you, Congresswoman?
Well, first of all, I think all of these investigations need to continue, and I wouldn't come to any conclusions, especially the one that Giuliani came to. I have not read the documents, but in watching the news coverage yesterday, it seems as though the president is implicated. But I don't think that I think we just need to hold tight. Let the Mueller investigation come to its completion. And I think that at the end of it, that we will determine whether or not, or to what extent, the president was involved. But from what Cohen said yesterday, that the president directed these payments, remember, he said over and over again that he didn't know anything about them at all. So I say let's let the Mueller investigation go to its completion.
Congressman, I'm going to follow up on that with this. That's what troubles so many people, is that you have a special counsel, Bob Mueller, and his team looking at Russian interference in our election, looking at any potential collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And now you have, here's a crime over here, but it's related to his personal attorney. Does that trouble you that an investigation into Russia collusion has turned into something altogether different?
Well, I think when these investigations happen, they go in one direction, but if they find crimes along the way, they're going to pursue that as well. And I think that what we are finding and learning about the involvement of President Trump way before he became president with Russians certainly leads one to believe that those relationships continued. So if they were negotiating a deal for a Trump hotel in Russia during the presidential campaign, you have to look at that.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
I also think...
I'm sorry, we have to go. You're welcome back anytime, Congresswoman.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But I'll point out,